If money was flowing, I probably wouldn't be on a book buying ban, and I probably would have been in somebody's bookstore every weekend. I can't do the accents back to back. I'm smiling ear to ear. Love Christina Forrest down, love her writing down, and somebody spent their hard-earned coin and thought about me. This book was only purchased because of the cover. Thank you to my friend Amber. I don't even know, I'm so new to the book world, I don't even know what that is. Had me at when Kalu reeling from the breakup visits an exclusive sex party. Yes, I'm ready for a maze. If I won't be picking it up until the audiobook comes out, point blank period. If books could talk, she would cuss me right out. And wasn't a reader in high school, didn't care for a book, didn't care to pick up a book. Honestly don't know why I purchased. Oh my god, his card is still in here. I did a soft DNF twice. Cover is stunning, beautiful, gorgeous. I'm not okay, so I'm not gonna read this if I'm not okay. Doing this video has made me realize how many books I do have. And I don't think I want to be serious. I think I just want to give me something fun. Give me guys. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Carice and I do bookish and lifestyle things over here. So in today's video, I'm gonna be going through every single book on my TBR, and not so much like going through it in a sense of reading the synopsis of every one of them, because I'm not doing that. Don't want this video to be that long, but I did want to do this video just because I don't know, I thought it would be fun to just pull the books out, pull my books out from my shelves. Some of these books, y'all, I forgot I had them. I'm not even gonna hold you, I forgot I had some of these books. So yeah, we're gonna go through all the books on my physical TBR. It's not a lot, honestly. It's probably like less than 100, but it's still a lot. So I did put myself on a book buying ban. This was honestly, if I'm being real, I'm only on a book buying ban because money tight. I'm only on a book buying ban because money is tight. So I'm like, if money was flowing, I probably wouldn't be on a book buying ban, and I probably would have been in somebody's bookstore every weekend. But I haven't been in a bookstore in a while. It's been a while. So yeah, I'm on an official book buying ban because of money, but also because I want to get my TBR down, my physical TBR down. So we're gonna do it in increments. So it's gonna be by genre. I'm gonna do romance, fantasy, nonfiction, all that. We're gonna do it in increments. So, and I'm gonna put the timestamps, or I'm gonna do the thing on YouTube where you can kind of click to each chapter. So if you don't want to see a particular, if you don't want to hear me talk about a particular genre, then you have, you know, the autonomy to just skip to wherever you would like. Okay, so starting out with fantasy. This is the only book, this book is the only book I have in fantasy that is not a part of like a series or anything like that. So Blood Over Brighthaven, my cousin purchased this book for me. She absolutely loved this book. So one thing about me with fantasy that I've realized is that I don't particularly, like, I'm still getting to know like what my reading taste is, and fantasy is one of those that I'm, like, I stay far away from, just because fantasy has a lot of series, like it's always series. So my cousin and I, we were talking and we were looking for fantasies that didn't have like a series. It was just a standalone, and this was one of them that she read, what she found, and she read it, and then she purchased it for me because she loved it so much. So yes, Blood Over Brighthaven. I will be reading this in the fall for sure, just because it gives that it gives fall vibes. So this is the only book that I have on my TBR for fantasy that is a standalone. Young adult. So for young adult, I only have, like, I'm so happy for me, because now I only have 3 books in my standalone young adults. So the first book is a book I purchased during the holiday season of last year, and it is Only for the Holidays, and I of course will be reading this in the Christmas time or the holiday time. So I'll be reading this during the holidays. And I did want to separate, I wanted to separate like the books that I'm gonna read the, you know, during the fall and winter months, because I just felt like it would put less pressure on me to feel like I need to read I don't even know how to explain it, but I wanted to separate it, but I don't think I'm going to. But yes, only for the holidays. Audrey and Bash are just friends, and I'm smiling ear to ear because this was also a gift from my cousin. And y'all, I love the cover of this book. I'm telling you, like, the cover of this book, it's just so, I don't know, like I get so happy when I look at it. I read 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, and I read that book at the right time. I had that book on my TBR for so long, and I finally read it, I would say back in May, and I absolutely I enjoyed the story. Yeah, I enjoyed the story, and I immediately wanted to pick up Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends, and I told my cousin about it, and she listened and she got it for me. But yeah, I truly loved Audrey in 7 Days in June. I'm like, I know her book probably gonna be fire. So Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends. I don't know when I'm gonna get to this, honestly, but we'll see eventually. The Black Queen. So this particular book, I know I started it and then I put it back down because I just wasn't in the mood for anything like on a darker level. Not to say that it's a dark, because it is dark, like it's a darker, like it's dark, the story's a little bit darker, so I wasn't in the mood for it. This is probably one that I'll pick up during like the October time, just because, like, you know, spooky season or whatever. So I'll probably pick this up during October. Oh, if y'all hear noise in the background, I think they're mowing the lawn outside. So yeah, so next up we're gonna talk about our thrillers. So for thrillers, I have, why do I feel like now I'm screaming because they're right under my window? Okay, I don't know how many books I have on my thrillers, but my thrillers are also getting down. So I don't know if I probably mentioned this in a vlog or something, but for thrillers specifically, I am trying to get down to 0 thrillers on my TBR so that I can start to read them through the library, through the Libby app, just because, y'all, because it's been a year and some months of me reading, and reading probably not majority thrillers, but reading a lot of thrillers. I've come to the conclusion that some of these thrillers don't need to be on my shelf, because for one, I'm probably never gonna read them again, and for two, it's just like some of them are like really popcorn thrillers. Now the thrillers that makes you think, or the thrillers that have something different in it, those are the thrillers I'll keep on my shelf from this pile. And the ones I have on my shelf now are thrillers that I really connected with. But the other ones, like some of my Fridas, of course, I think I told y'all, those are on my Pango. There's only a select few Fridas that I decided to keep. So as far as thrillers, once I'm done with this pile that I'm showing y'all, it will be straight Libby, reading it first, and if I love it enough to have it on my shelf, then I'll purchase the book. Jackal by Aaron E. Adams. This particular thriller, regardless of, like, I'm gonna read it and it's gonna stay on my shelf just because this is a Black author that I would love to have on my shelf. So Jackal by Aaron E. Adams. I did start this actually, and I think I did a soft DNF just because I did a soft DNF twice. Not because the book is bad. The book is not bad. It's actually very interesting. It's just I wasn't in the mood for it, and I want to give this book my entire, like, I want to give it my full attention and give it my all, just because, again, this is a Black author and I don't want to just, you know, say, oh no, the book was terrible. But the book is good. So it was good where I was. It's just I wasn't ready for it. King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. This was actually on my July TBR, and I took it off because, again, I'm not in the mood for it. I'm not in the mood for it, and I don't want to read it and while I'm not in the mood for it, just because it's like, I don't want to do this book a disservice, because it might truly be a good book. So this was on my July TBR, and we're probably gonna push it to, I don't know when we're gonna push it to. We're gonna push it to something, or when we're ready for it. Razorblade Tears, also by S.A. Cosby. So this is, I'm saving this particular S.A. Cosby book for last because I've heard great things about it. A lot of people have said this is probably one of, out of his 5, this is probably one of the best ones. So I'm saving this one for last because at this point now I've read 3 out of 5 of the books. I've read Darkest Prayer, I've read All the Sinners Bleed, which is still my favorite as it stands today, and I've read Blacktop Wasteland. So, and I have King of Ashes in this one. So I'm excited to read this one just because I keep hearing great things about it. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. So I've read 2 Lisa Jewell books and I do enjoy her writing. I can't do Lisa Jewell back to back because her books I think are based in the UK, and you know, the narrators believe have accents, and not to say that I can't do the accents back to back. Baby, I can't do the accents back to back, okay? So I'm gonna take a break. I took a break, but I read, and I think that what it was is because I read 2 of her books, I think back to back. I read Then She Was Gone, and then I read Don't Let Him In. Enjoyed both of those books, and they're still on my shelf. So this one, I'm probably gonna give it just maybe another month or so before I jump back into a Lisa Jewell book. But I do like her writing, and I like how she does her, like, it's kind of confusing how she does her things, because it's like she goes back and then she goes forward, then she goes back. It's like you kind of have to be locked in to Lisa. I don't know if this is how None of This Is True is, but I know that Don't Let Him In and Then She Was Gone was like you kind of had to be locked in to make sure you're following the timeline, you know, correctly. Next up was a birthday gift from last year from one of my friends. I still have the little note in here. So cute. But yes, this was a birthday gift from a friend, my friend Nia, and this book was on my TBR for the sole purpose of, well, it was on my wish list for the sole purpose of the story sounded interesting. Like, it was giving kind of like Saw vibes in a way. I don't know, but because it's like they're in a cabin, and I feel like when they're in a cabin, and I feel like they're being watched. I don't know, but it sounded interesting enough for me to put it on my wish list, and she purchased it for me for my birthday last year. So I'm excited to get to this and just, you know, knock it out. It's gonna stay on my shelf because I refuse to sell, donate, or anything when it comes to books that were given to me as gifts. Just because I just feel like it was given to me as a gift, so I'm not gonna do that. Even if the book is terrible, like, I'm gonna keep it on my shelf because it was a gift and somebody spent their hard-earned coin and thought about me, so I'm not gonna just give it away. Hidden Pictures by Jason Recolleck. Okay, this for sure is being read in October. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not picking this book up before October. I've heard it's very creepy. I've heard it's really good, but very creepy, and I think it would be perfect for spooky season. I have toyed with the idea of selling it on my Pango or donating it, just because the story sounds interesting, right? I'm still getting to know like what my taste is, and I believe this is dark academia. I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm not gonna sell it. I'm not gonna, you know, donate it. But if I read it and I don't enjoy it, it's going on that Pango. It's going on that Pango. So yes, If We Were Villains by ML Rio. Probably we will pick this up in October as well. Baby, all these thrillers might be picked up in October, but I also don't want to burn myself out with the thrillers in October. You Deserve to Know. And I picked this book up mainly because of the cover. I just love the cover. The cover is pretty. The sky is pretty. The houses are pretty. I picked it up mainly because of the cover. This wasn't any type of a, oh my god, I love, you know, I love the synopsis. It was purely because of the cover. So this is probably one of those that I could probably read during like the summer to kind of get myself ready for the fall, but we'll see. So it's time to jump into romance. Romance is also not a lot of books left in this genre for me. However, it still feels like so many books. Okay, so first up we have When I Think of You by Maya Ariel. I've read No Ordinary Love by Maya Ariel, and I enjoyed that story. It was really cute. It was, you know, it was nothing, just, it was cute. It was just cute. So I will probably pick this up during the summer. All these romances, I'll probably, depending on how, like what the synopsis says, I'll probably try to pick them up during the summer, because I do kind of want to take advantage of the summertime and read things that are fluffy and fun, because I felt like for July I kind of jumped the gun and was like, yeah, I'm gonna try to attack the Goodreads challenge and get all these books out the way. But most of the books I had on my TBR for July were they were a little bit more serious, and I don't think I want to be serious. I think I just want to give me something fun, give me people falling in love, like, please. Why did I forget the name of this? The Favorites by Lane Fargo. This was one that honestly don't know why I purchased. Don't know why I purchased it. I think I purchased it just because it was popular at the time, and it's also been on my TBR since the paperback came out. So this is different for me. It's a sports romance, but it's like a figure skating sports romance. I've never read that before. I've only ever read, I think, like basketball. Yeah, I've only ever read like basketball romance. So I'll be interested to see, you know, and hear about the figure skating world. This one was also a gift. This is On Merit Alone. And this one is, she's thick. She's very thick, and I also don't think she has an audiobook. So I've been putting this off. I've been putting it off. Thank you to my friend Amber for purchasing this book for me, girl. Love you. Been putting it off just because there's no audiobook, and it's also thick, and I'm gonna have to be locked in, and it's a slow burn, so I'm gonna have to be locked in. I don't know, I'm scared. So yeah, I'm scared, but we're gonna eventually pick this up. I just don't know when. Okay, we're gonna pick it up at some point. It's a book that I have probably DNF'd twice. Not that the book is bad. Not that the book is bad. The book is not bad. I just think I wasn't in the right headspace. At the both times I was trying to read this book, I wasn't in the right headspace to read this book. And this is also a debut, and I truly didn't want to. I even put this book on my Pango, y'all. This book was on my Pango, took it off my Pango, put it back on my Pango, took it off my Pango, just because I'm like, Carice, give the book a chance. Just give the book a chance. This is a debut novel, and I do want to give it a chance. I don't know why I thought, like, I think for me it started off like a little bit heavy, like a little bit serious and heavy, but I'm sure it gets better, you know. So I'm deciding to keep it on my shelf just because, again, the cover is stunning, beautiful, gorgeous. So I've decided to keep it on my shelf, and we're gonna try again. We're probably not gonna try again anytime soon, but we will eventually try again. This one is a book I'm probably actually gonna pick it up during the summer. Why am I pointing over there? Like the summertime is out there. Okay, well, it is, it's sunny. But this is a book that I'm going to pick up during the summer months, just because it says a love like the sun. I feel like I can't read this any other time but summer or spring. So I'm gonna pick this one up during these months, especially because I'm looking for something cutesy and fluffy. No, not fluffy, because I don't know if this book is fluffy, but I'm looking for cutesy, like, romances, just to, like, warm my heart. Yeah, so we're gonna pick this up during the summer. Until the Last Breath, Shanora Williams. This book was my cousin was going through her pile, and she unhauled this one, so I picked it up. So don't know what this is about. I'm gonna assume we're in Paris because of the Eiffel Tower. Don't know what it's about. I just saw Shanora Williams, and I was like, okay, well, this might be a good story. So don't know when we'll pick this up, but we'll pick it up at some point. Love Song for Ricky Wilde. I'm excited to get into this because I've never read magical realism in a book before, and hell, I don't even know. I'm so new to the book world, I don't even know what that is. If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't know what that is. So excited to kind of see what magical realism is and how it's incorporated into a story. Last up is, oh my gosh, this is also a gift from my cousin. So this one is a book she's read. A lot of people have read it. They've been crying their eyes out. They're, you know, I am not in the headspace to read this book just because of the themes, or just because of what I keep hearing about the book. I am not in the headspace to read this. This will be put off until I am And when I tell you, I'm gonna read this when I'm in such a great headspace that I won't even be able to shed a tear. Like, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but I want to read this when I'm in the best headspace possible, because no, like, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. So I'm not going to read this if I'm not okay. No. So this will be picked up when it's picked up. I don't know when, to be honest. It might be 2 years from now. It might be 3 years from now. We'll read it eventually, but it cannot be now at all. Not in 2026, at least. At least let's get out of 2026 first before we pick this up. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Next up, we have our memoirs, and this list is not a lot either. Memoirs, honestly, I probably need to start reading like one a month just to get them out the way. And as far as memoirs go, it's probably gonna be just like thrillers where I read it on my Kindle. And if I love the memoir so much, then I'll get it from my shelf. But starting off with, this wasn't really categorized as a memoir per se. When I bought the book, it was like in like the humor comedy section at Barnes. Yeah, I don't know, but this is the Adventures of Awkward Black Girl by Issa Rae. This is one that's really short. I can probably knock this out sometime this month. However, I don't want to just pick it up because I want to knock it out. I want to pick it up because I'm actually ready for it, because I don't want to feel like I'm bored or something like that. Like, I don't want to be in such a headspace of, yeah, I want to knock it out. Like, I want to actually be intentional about reading these books. Coming by Michelle Obama. This is also another one where I don't know when I'm going to pick this up. These memoirs, I don't know when I'm going to pick them up. Honestly, I don't know. But I have to be in the mood to want to listen to a memoir. Because I hardly ever sit down and like prop open a memoir and read them. I typically am listening to them, and I just follow along and bookmark whatever page I'm on through the audiobook. Firstborn Girls by Bernice L. McFadden. This particular book is also from my cousin's library, and I wanted to keep this from her Unhaul because I do want to read. I have one other Bernice L. McFadden book, and I wanted to read her memoir before I jump into her novels, just because I feel like I would have a different connection to her novels if I was to read her memoir first. So I was grappling with the idea of unhauling it myself, but I think I'm actually just gonna keep it, read it, and we'll see. Maybe I'll connect with it in some way. We have Finding Me by Viola Davis, and this is one that I am excited to read just because I love Viola Davis, and yeah, I'm just excited to read it. I don't know when I'm going to read it, but it'll be read at some point. One that is very special to my heart, very special to me. I really wish this was a hardcover. It's because all my memoirs, I prefer them to be in hardcover. I really wish this had a hardcover. I don't know if it does, but this is A Piece of Cake by Cupcake Brown. I started, see y'all, there's even highlights in here. You can say that at the time this would be considered a DNF, because this book I purchased during my master's program, and we had to read it for a class, and I think we only got like halfway through the book, and then I put it away. I just put it away. Mind you, I wasn't reading. Like, I didn't get into reading. I just got into reading last year. So when I was in my master's program, reading wasn't a thing for me. I was reading textbooks. So reading wasn't a thing for me. So when I was reading this story, I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, this is her life. Like, this is crazy. So I decided to keep the book because I wanted to come back to it at some point. This was before I realized that I was gonna like reading. So now that I do like reading, I will be rereading this at some point. And I'm gonna start from the very beginning. I'm not just gonna jump back into the story, because I do wanna give this my full attention now that I now that I'm a reader, you know, like I can connect with it in a different way. The newest memoir on the block for my TBR is Miss Brandy's Phases. Now here's the thing about me and purchasing this book. I solely purchased this book off the strength of the cover. This book was only purchased because of the cover. I don't know much about Brandy. I wouldn't consider myself a Brandy fan. I don't know much about Brandy. Dare I say, I've never really full out watched Moesha, never really full out watched the Cinderella. Like I've never really watched any of those. So everything that I'm probably going to be reading in here will be new to me and it'll be foreign to me. Just like when I read Matriarch by Tina Knowles. Some of the things I'm finding out, like I was never really like a Beyonce fan, or I never really followed like the Destiny's Child career or anything like that. So when I was reading her memoir and like hearing about just the family and all of that, I even went back when I read Matriarch, I went back to some of the videos that she was mentioning in the book, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. So reading this is going to be probably the same experience that I had with Matriarch. I'll probably have that same, you know, need to do some additional research just because I don't know much about Brandy. We are on Litfic Road. Litfic is probably, out of all the books in except for series and book club, Litfic probably has the most books, just because Litfic is a genre that I'm still getting to know. We're still getting, you know, we're still getting acquainted with each other. We haven't made it past first base yet. So yeah, we're still getting there. So the first book on my Litfic is Harriet Tubman Live in Concert by Bob the Drag Queen. So I watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and the only reason I purchased this book is because I wanted to support Bob the Drag Queen. That is it. No rhyme or reason for it. I wanted to support Bob the Drag Queen. I am excited to read this book. It's also one of those that's really small and I can knock this out, but I also don't want to do the whole I'm gonna just knock it out because it's small. I want to give this my full attention, my time of day when I'm actually in the mood for it. Little Rot by Akweke Imezi. This sounded interesting. I'm actually kind of excited to get into this because it sounds so interesting. They had me at, I think it had me at when Kalu, reeling from the breakup, visits an exclusive sex party hosted by his best friend Ahmed. He makes a decision that will plunge them all into chaos. What do you mean? What do you mean? Whatever do you mean? So this sounds exciting. Honestly, as I'm talking about it right now, I want to just like put it on my TBR for this month, just because it sounds like I'm gonna have a good time. It sounds like I'm gonna have a good time. James and I Have the Trees. So these two are probably gonna be on my TBR for some time because I have to be in the mood. I have to be in the mood, and I don't know when I will be in the mood for them. I don't know, but nevertheless, they're here. The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. This was also on my July TBR, and I swiftly took it off because I just am not in the mood. I know I keep saying that, but I'm just not in the mood. So we're gonna pick her back up at some point. I just don't know when. We will see. The story sounds like it would be amazing. My cousin did say that it was a great story. A lot of people love Kristen Hanna, and a lot of people do cry over Kristen Hanna's books. So I am deciding, I'm making the executive decision to put it back in the TBR pile until I'm ready for it. One Summer in Savannah. So this, I put it in my Litfic section because it's where I got it from the store, but I know that there's like romance in this. Maybe it's a subplot of romance, I don't know, but I picked this up because, why did I pick this book up? I don't know. See, I'm telling y'all, like, I'm so happy that I'm on a book buying ban because I was just buying stuff. Like when I started reading, y'all, I was just buying stuff. There were so many books that I unhauled previously, you know, for me to get to where I'm at now, being basically under 100 books. There were so many books that I unhauled because I'm like, why did you buy this? There was no need. There was no need. For this book, I don't know. I don't remember why I purchased. I think I was just like, I want to read a Tara Shelton Harris book, and I did start it and I put it down. I'll pick it back up again eventually, but I don't know why. I don't know what motivated me to buy it at the time I bought it. Ooh, child. If books could talk, if books could talk, she would cuss me right out. She would cuss me out. I would get a clean cuss out from Eleanor Oliphant. Is completely fine. This book has been on my TBR probably the longest. I think I purchased this book mid last year. It has been basically a year at this point since this book has been on my TBR. If books could talk, she would literally cuss me out. I was gonna donate this book before I knew about Pango. I was gonna donate this book, but I had flipped through just a random page, and I saw it said something about like a social worker, so I decided to keep it because, again, I felt like I would be connected in a way because, you know, I am a social worker, so I'm like, maybe I'll connect with it. So that's the only reason this book is still on my shelf, and I hear that, you know, it's a good book, so it's really only on my shelf because I flipped through and saw what I saw. Next up is a book I'm actually really excited to get to. It's Night Crawling. I absolutely love this cover. I picked this up when Barnes was having, there's a Barnes not in my area, but a Barnes that was closing down, and I just randomly saw this book and I'm like, ooh, when am I gonna see this book for this cheap? So I picked this book up and I was so excited to get it on my shelf because the cover is absolutely beautiful in my opinion. Where the Crawdads Sing. This is one that's also, if the books could talk, girl, cuss me right out. Because yeah, it's been a while. I know that there is it says now a major motion picture. So I know that there is a movie, it's a movie. And I wanted to read this because I wanted to watch the movie, but I heard that the movie wasn't as good. And typically that's like what you hear is like the book was better kind of thing. So I don't know when I'm going to read this because I feel like it gives, I think it's something about a marsh or something. So it gives like, you know, October, November, like around those times. So we'll see when we pick this one up. Happy Land. This cover, the cover. I purchased it because of the cover. I purchased it because of the cover, and also I do enjoy historical fiction. So that's the reason that I picked this book up, but it was purely because of the cover. Just the cover. That's it. A gift that I received recently from my cousin. It is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This cover is also really beautiful. The sprayed edges are also really beautiful. Yeah, I am looking forward to reading this. This is a book that is, it's gonna be read either in August or September because it was on my July TBR, but it was another one of those like, yeah girl, your TBR is looking very like, there's nothing fun. Not to say that this book is not fun, but there's nothing fun and fluffy in your, you know, your July TBR, and you need to change that. So I decided to push this off until August or September just because I need to read it because it's on the Goodreads challenge, and this is the only book I have that will fulfill the category of the Goodreads of that particular prompt in Goodreads. So it will get read. So this is one that for sure we know will get read. Let Us Descend. This will be my first book by Jesmyn Ward. I love the cover. Don't know what it's about. The cover was beautiful. Thus, we have the book. Black Cake, and I read one book by Charmaine Wilkerson before. Enjoyed it. It was good dirt. I enjoyed it, and I watched Black Cake on Hulu. This was way before my reading time. When that show came out, I honestly thought, I just thought it was a limited series on Hulu. And then when I got into reading and I saw this book in the store, I was like, Black Cake was a book? Black Cake was a book? That is crazy. So I ended up picking the book up because you know, I want to experience the literary version of what I watched. Yeah, I want to experience the literary version of what I watched. So hence we have Black Cake. I'm going to combine nonfiction and classics together because it's not a lot. So this is my only nonfiction book that is within this particular yeah, this is my only nonfiction book that's not a part of like book club or anything. So this is The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. This was a gift from my brother for my birthday, and pretty sure when I was filming last year I showed this book a part of my birthday book haul. And yes, it's still on my TBR. Haven't read it. Sorry, bro. I will eventually get to this book. Yeah, it'll get read. Don't worry, it'll get read. But yes, so this I'm excited to get to and ready to mark it up. Oh my god, his card is still in here. Oh, his card is still in here. I definitely forgot about that. Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. That just made me smile. But yes, I will eventually get to this book. I just don't know when. All right, so for classics, you will see that I only have one Toni Morrison in this particular pile because the rest of my Toni Morrisons are in the book club pile. So the first book is The Bluest Eye, and excited to read this one because I hear a lot of good things about it. Now, I've read one Toni Morrison book and it was also for a book club, and I'm so new to the reading space and to just reading on a deeper level that it took some time to really grasp Toni Morrison's reading. And I think the more books I read by her, the more I'll probably be able to comprehend and grasp what exactly is going on. So excited to read this one because I've heard great things about it. Jane Eyre. This is like, I don't know, it's just so beautiful. So yeah, we have Jane Eyre. Narrative, wow, come on. Narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave. So this one, I want to say is, I don't know if his own words are in here. I don't know. I picked it up off the strength of I want to continue to learn. I want to not continue, but I want to learn more, and I just want to fill my head with a little bit more knowledge. The Great Gatsby. This is the Barnes and, I don't know if it's the Barnes and Noble cover, but these are the books. These are the signature classic covers that are in Barnes and Noble. So I picked this one up because this one encapsulates what the book I feel like is about. I've read The Great Gatsby before, but I want to read it now that I am a reader and probably able to comprehend things a little bit differently. So that's why I picked it up. Scarlet Letter. I heard this was good. I am actually kind of excited to get into this. Honestly, all these classics, I don't know when I'm going to get into them. They will be read. I just don't know when. But the Scarlet Letter, I heard it was good, so that's why I picked it up. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Picked both of these up just because I remember reading one of these or both of these in high school, and again, wasn't a reader in high school, didn't care for a book, didn't care to pick up a book. So I do want to reread these with adult eyes and also reader brain, if that makes sense. So yes, those are the classics that I have. Well, let me get Toni. These are the classics that are not part of book club. Okay, we're almost there, y'all. So now we're into the book club books, and when I say book club, I mean my cousin and I's two-person book club that we created. My cousin and I's two-person book club that we created to connect with each other and on a bookish level. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, to connect with each other on a bookish level. So I'm gonna go through these probably rapid fire just because I don't have much to say, I don't think, about These, I don't think I have much to say about these books, honestly. Yeah, if I do have something to say, I'll say it, but I don't think I have much to say. This one, Cultish by Amanda Montell. Excited to read this with her, just because it might be a lot of stuff to talk about in here. And also some of the books that we put here on the book club books, we put them on here because we felt, well, one, we probably had the books together, but two, we also felt that they would be really good book club books. Blue Sisters, No Reservations. I remember the day I purchased this book. It was also when at the Barnes and Noble sale that was happening, and this girl literally she was like, hey, have you read this book? And I was like, no. And she was like, you need to read this book. And she just put it, she just like gave it to me, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll buy it because it's sale, it's half off. So this ended up being on our book club because my cousin also has this book as well, and I think it would be great discussion. Harlem Rhapsody, basically all of the Tonys. So we have Tar Baby, Sula, Song of Solomon, Paradise, Love, and Beloved, or Beloved. Yeah. Love from Harlem. This is one that we are both excited to get into just because of the era, the Harlem Renaissance, like just reading about that particular era. We have a fantasy on here, so we have the adventures, the Invisible Life of Addie LaRoe. This should be fun just because, again, we were looking for sci-fi and fantasies that aren't a part of a series, and finding these books that are standalones within that genre is just so, it's just so great because I just want to read the story and be done with it. I don't want to continue to be in this world, you know. I don't want to continue to be in this world. So this will probably be a great time for our book club. Losing Control by Lady Nisha. She is now in Barnes and Noble. I absolutely love the cover of this book. We were flipping through this the other night just to like, we were just reading some, well, I was just reading some just flipping through and y'all, I can tell we're gonna have a great time with this book because some of the things I was reading in here were so funny, so I can tell we're gonna have a great time with this. She purchased this one for me and for herself as well. So it's A Harlem Wedding. I know a few booktubers on here have read this and they had some stuff to say about it. So I'm excited to see what our thoughts would be when it comes to reading this together. Project Hail Mary. I watched the movie before I read the book. I know, I'm sorry. But yes, I watched the movie before I read the book, and I know that it's a lot of, what is it? This is a sci-fi. So it's probably going to be like a lot of stuff in here that I'm probably not going to understand, but it probably still will be a good time because I enjoyed the movie so much. I cried in the movie theater. I literally cried in the movie theater. So yes, I'm ready for amaze, 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 amaze. If you watched the movie and read the book, then you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to amaze, amaze, amaze. Rue by Tamika Christie. We have Red Rising. I've heard nothing but great things about Red Rising. We put this on our book club because it's the first book in a series. So if we do enjoy this one, then we will continue to read all the other ones together. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the hype is about because I hear a lot of great things about Red Rising. August Lane by Regina Black. This one was purely, I was influenced. I was bookfluenced, if you will. I was bookfluenced when this book came out. I think this came out last year because I just purchased this paperback maybe a few months ago. So this came out last year. It was all the rage and I ended up picking it up, and come to find out my cousin had it as well, so we added it to the book club. Ace of Spades. I ended up buying her this book because I just love the cover. We went to Barnes and we were doing a we were purchasing books for each other, and it was a really cute, like, it was a really cute challenge, and I ended up purchasing this book for her. So we added it to book club because we both owned it. Where the Wildflowers Grow, I won't get too much into this because this came out this year, and a lot of people have, you know, in the bookish space have talked about this book and what it's about. So I just, you know, I'm not a fan of sprayed edges, but I'm a fan of sprayed edges when it's done right. Like Atmosphere and this one, it's done right. Like it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Homegoing. So this is one I picked up just on a random Barnes and Noble trip, and come to find out my cousin had this book as well. So we're like, yeah, let's add it to book club. Why not? Mame almost put this on my Pango and donated, but then came to find out she had the book as well, and we thought, you know what, let's just keep it, you know. Summer Girlfriend by Christina Forrest. I have read 4 Christina Forrest books at this point. Love Christina Forrest down, love her writing down. So we pre-ordered this book together, and it came, I think it came the same day for us, and we ended up adding it to book club just because I don't think like we're ready for it. Like it would be perfect to read it now during the summertime, but I think we're probably gonna give it some time, like when the hype has died down, because a lot of people have been reading The Summer Girlfriend because again, it's summertime, you're probably reading it by the beach, whatever. But yes, and it probably will be a nice little fun book club discussion to, yeah, probably will be a nice and fluffy book club discussion. Oh, now my camera dying. Ciao. Zeal by Morgan Jerkins. Gray After Dark. Ask for Andrea. This is, I think, book 1 in a series. The next book, I think, is like a prequel or something. So yes, we only have, if I'm not mistaken, I think we only have 2 thriller books on here. So those 2 we wanted to just add because we both had them. It was no really, y'all, the camera died, so I don't remember. I honestly don't remember where I left off. I think I left off telling y'all about the book club books, which was the end of it was the Ask for Andrea book. So now we're getting into, this is it. This is it. Now we're going to talk about series that I'm either in the middle of or I haven't started yet. I separated these. I didn't put these in my, what is it, in the genres that they're supposed to be in, just because I prefer to separate them, because I'm also on a journey to take down my series as well. So yes, the first book that I have is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I know that there's a second book in this, and I thought about donating this book or selling on my Pango just because I didn't know if I would connect with the story at all or if I would like the story at all, but I ended up keeping it just because I'm just gonna give it a try. I have 3 books left, oh 4 actually, not 3. I have 4 books left in the, oh my god, don't tell me, the Dream Harbor series. So I have The Christmas Tree Farm, which I'm trying to hold out until, you know, holidays. But the way that I want the holidays to come is like I want to be in November and December already. So it's like I might just read this just to read it, because I also do want to get to like the other ones, you know. This was my fault completely. I was supposed to read this last year during the holidays, but I didn't. So it was my fault. The Strawberry Patch Pancake House, I was supposed to read this. If I followed the timeline, I was supposed to read The Christmas Tree Farm in December. Then this was supposed to be like during the springtime, because apparently, like, you know, of course you can see like the little, you know, like it's spring. Then The Gingerbread Bakery, again, yeah. If we followed the theme, it was, you know, supposed to be this year. Well, not supposed to be, but I would have gotten to this year, I think. I don't know. Actually, I don't know, whatever. And then this one recently came out during like the springtime. So this is the Daisy Chain Flower Shop. And I know that I don't have to read these. I don't think I have to read them in order. But I think for me and my brain, I prefer to read my series in order. So that's why I'm like, I've been stuck with these sitting here because I'm waiting for a specific time. Hookshot and Blockshot. I've read Longshot. Yeah. Longshot was something. Longshot was something. It was heavy. It was heavy, but she came out on the other side, so you know, it all worked out for her in the end, and I'm so happy that it did. I think the second book is Hookshot, and yeah, I think the second book is Hookshot, and then we have Blockshot. So this is not my only Kennedy Ryan series that I'm in the middle of. Yeah, it's not my only Kennedy Ryan series that I'm in the middle of. You'll see the rest when I get to them. This is the first book in, it's not so much like a series, but it's like there's a follow-up book to this. It's called Fever, and this book is following, I believe, a group of friends as they navigate life pretty much. So it says here, yeah, Bernice L. McFadden. So I wanted to read her memoir before I get into, you know, her books. I know that she has that other book, it's like called Sugar, Camilla's Roses, like those books. I want to read her memoir before I even pick this one up. But I do know that I picked it up solely because of the cover, and also because when I read the back of the book in Barnes that day, the story, like the synopsis, kind of like gripped me, and I was like, yeah, gotta add this to the TBR. Restore Me. I only have the first book. I have every intention of purchasing, whenever I can, purchasing the remaining covers, the remaining updated covers in this series, because I think they're absolutely beautiful. So I only have the first book, but I did add it to my series because it is a part of a series. So the Harlem Renaissance series. So we have The Close-Up by Kennedy Ryan. This is there's a lot of talk in the town about this book as well, so not much to say about it. And then also Score by Kennedy Ryan. A lot of talk of the town, a lot of talk in the bookish community about Score. I've read Real. I read Real. I don't know, I've been grappling with the idea of doing a reread for Real, just because I feel like I vaguely remember Verity and Monk, but I feel like maybe some stuff kind of went over my head, so I might do a reread for Real. I don't know yet. Yo, I'm kind of tired. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I'm kind of tired. Doing this video has made me realize how many books I do have. Oh my God. All right. We have the second book in the Sweet Heat series. So the Honey and Spice. The Honey and Spice series. This is Sweet Heat by Bolu Babalola. We have the first book in the Handmaid's Tale series. So the Curve series, I think that's what it's called. So yes, we have the Curve series. I've read Curvy Girl Summer. So next book to read is Plus Size Player. I did start Plus Size Player back probably like earlier this year, and I ended up putting it down. Don't know why I put it down. I think I just wasn't ready for it. I don't think I was in the mood for, you know, anything romance related at that time. But yeah, this one, and then this one came out this year. I want to say this one came out this year. I hear great things about this one as well. I hear it's very spicy. So I think I'm actually kind of excited to get into both of these, to just kind of wrap up the Curve series and wait for whatever else that Danielle Allen has to bless us with. Earth Seed. Is this called the Earth Seed series? I don't know, but it's Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents by Octavia Butler. I have to read Parable of the Sower either August or September to fulfill a Goodreads prompt. it was on my TBR for this month. However, like I said, the TBR was looking too serious, so I had to cut them out. So, but I will pick it up in August or September to fulfill what I need to fulfill for that challenge. Second book in the, what is this series called? Don't know what this series is called, but the first book in the series was Only for the Week, and that one was them in Tulum. Now this one is picked up, I think, right when they come back from Tulum, or when they're coming back from Tulum or something. I did start this. I tried to read it with my eyes because there's no audiobook. I don't think there's an audiobook until November. So I put it down just because I prefer to read with an audiobook because I focus better that way. I won't be picking this up until the audiobook comes out. I won't be picking it up until the audiobook comes out, point blank period. That's it. Last up, oh my gosh, last up we have, don't know what this series is called, but it is this series by Octavia Butler. It is sci-fi. My cousin unhauled these and I picked them up from her just because it sounded interesting. It just sounded interesting, and I was like, I might enjoy the story. So the first one is Dawn. This one is called Adulthood Rights. And then this one is called Imago. Yeah, Imago. So I want to say this is about like alien related. I don't know, but I'm excited to read these. I don't know when I'm going to get into it because I've read Kindred by Octavia Butler, and I love her writing. So I don't have any issues with knowing that she will provide me with a good time, you know? It will be somewhat of a good time as far as like storytelling goes. So yes, those were all of the books on my TBR, on my physical TBR at least. Yeah, and hopefully we can get this TBR down within the next couple of months, just so that when it, you know, when the opportunity presents itself for me to purchase more books, I won't feel guilty to adding to the TBR when I haven't read some of these books. I do, however, before y'all go, I do want to show you what I'm currently reading and books that I've decided to unhaul. This is a really small amount of books that I'm unhauling, just because I've done a huge unhaul like way before I started filming again. I've done a huge unhaul, and those books are, some of those books are still on my Pango because I've sold a few, but it's 3 books that I've decided to unhaul just because I had been thinking about unhauling these books for a while, and through going through my TBR, through going through my physical TBR, I truly was like, am I gonna want to pick these books back up? Because I just don't know. So the first one is Days in the Lives of Social Workers. I did pick this up during my studies, and I don't know, I just personally do not care to have it anymore, and I know that it will go to someone that will appreciate it way more than I probably can. So there's that. The next one is Immortal Dark by Tijus Germa. So I'm choosing to unhaul this book just because I'll just probably read it on my Kindle, because if I don't enjoy the story, I just don't want to have it on my shelf. That don't even make no sense, because you don't know if you're gonna enjoy it because you haven't read it yet. But I'm unhauling it because I want to read it on my Kindle, just so that if I do enjoy the story, then I'll pick the second book up on my Kindle and just read it that way. And also, yeah, I'm not like connected to the cover in any way, so I'm gonna unhaul it. Last up is the Mixtape by Brittany Cherry. This was a book that was such an impulse buy. I remember the day I purchased this book too. It was such a like, yeah, I have money, so I'm gonna purchase a book just to purchase a book. That's what it gave. So I had been toying with the idea of unhauling this book for some time, and I am deciding to finally unhaul it. And yeah, because I've read a Brittany Cherry book before, but I think what I want to do is just tap into whatever she has coming up and not so much tapping into her backlist. I think I just want to tap into whatever she has in the future. I am in the middle of Funny Story by Emily Henry. I am almost done with Sky Full of Elephants. This is a book club book with my cousin for our 2-person book club. This is it's for the second half of the month for our book club. It's Hurricane Summer. Really excited for this. So excited for this because again, it's summertime. I'm probably gonna have a great time with this book. So this is the last book that I have on my TBR that is Frida McFadden physically. Once I'm done with this, I can do what I said I was going to do and read Frida on my Kindle, listen to her through the Libby app. Yeah, so very excited about this because I'm so proud of myself. I powered through. I powered through all the Fridas. And I did it. I'm so proud of myself. So yes, any which way, thank y'all for sitting down with me and just listening to me talk about all the books that are on my physical TBR. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if you have any of these books on your TBR. If you're looking forward to reading any of these books, just let me know. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.